Today what we'll learn about is calculating the volume of spheres. The learning target for today is I will learn how to identify the radius of a sphere in order to calculate its volume. In order to be successful, I can identify the radius of a sphere. I can substitute values into the formula for a sphere. I can use a calculator to calculate the volume. Lastly, I can round my answer to the hundredths place. Before we get started, what you will need is the Desmos Scientific Calculator. Make sure that this is logged into and preloaded before we get started. All you need to type in is the desmos.com/scientific and this should pop up. Okay, the first problem that we're going to look at is this one right here. Example 1. It says calculate the exact and estimated volumes of the following figure. Round your answers to the hundredths place or 2 decimal places. Okay, so the formula for the volume of a sphere is V equals 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, so what we need is 3 different things in this case. So step 1 is to identify the values. Okay, so we need V, we need pi, and then we need r. So the first thing that I want to identify is the volume. So based off this diagram and the word problem, nothing is given for the volume. In fact, that's what I want to find, so I'm going to put a question mark. Next will be pi. Pi is always 3.14. Then lastly, I want to identify what the radius r are. So in this sphere, the only number that's there is a 4. So 4 will be my radius. So it'll be 4 feet for my radius. After we have identified our values, step 2 is to substitute those values in to the formula for sphere. So now, since I have the formula written down here, I'm going to go through these one by one and substitute these values in. So with V, I don't have anything for V. It's just a question mark. So it'll just stay V. 4/3 will stay 4/3. Then I get to pi. I want to keep pi as pi because I want to find the exact value. And then r, I'm going to change into a 4. Notice that I'm putting it inside parentheses. And then also note that the exponent of the radius is 3. So this also has to be a 3. This isn't changing. This will always be 3. Just the r is changing to whatever number it's equal to. And now I move some things around a little bit just so I have more room. And now we get into step 3. So this is the part where we use that calculator and use it to help us calculate what the exact value of the volume is. So before we do that, I'm going to rewrite the volume of this in a different way. What this really is just a multiplication problem. So when multiplying, you could rearrange these in any way that you want. So I'm going to rearrange these in a different way. So what I have is pretty much the same thing, but I just moved this one in front of pi. And so that's how I got this. It'll be the exact same value. So now I'm going to plug this into my calculator. Okay, so I'm going to multiply 4 times 4 to the 3rd power and then see what I get. So here's that calculator. So I'm going to do 4 times 4 to the 3rd power. So the way I did that was I clicked 4 times 4. Then I hit this button. Then it brought up this part. And then I put it in a 3. And then that's 256. But now I'm going to take that result and write 256 pi. However, remember that 3? I did not divide by 3, so I'm going to bring down that 3 as well. So divided by 3. So why wouldn't I divide by 3? I mean, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but why wouldn't I in this case? So why would I keep it like this? Well, the reason is if we go back to that calculator, so we got 256, right? When we multiply all those 4s. So if I do 256 divided by 3, let's see what I get. Okay, if I divide all this by 3, I get 85 0.333333333, and so on and so forth. I wouldn't be able to find the exact value of that number. So that's why I don't want to divide it. I want to keep it as a fraction. So I don't want to divide out that 3. So this solution will be our final answer. And so don't forget our units at the end, be feet cubed. And that'll be the exact value. That's the exact value. To find the estimated value, all we do is the exact same thing, but now instead of pi, I'm gonna change pi into 3.14. So I'm gonna do that really quick. So it's pretty much the same thing, but I changed pi into 3.14. That pi changed, and now this is the point where I plug in everything to the calculator. I see what I get, estimate it if necessary. That's my answer. So now I'm gonna do 4 times 4 to the third power divided by 3. Divided by 3. And then all that times 3.14. And you get 267.94666667. So we get 267.94666667. And then we got to round to 2 decimal places. And this number rounds or estimates to about 267.95 cubic feet. And that's the estimated value. I did make a video on estimating to the hundredths place, or just estimating in general. So go ahead and check that out. I put the link in the description of this video. So that's pretty much it for that first example. Now we're going to move on to the next example. It's pretty much the exact same thing. However, instead of them giving you the radius outright, they give you the diameter and you need to cut it in half to find the radius, but pretty much the exact same thing. Nothing's different. So on this example, I'm going to go a little bit faster because you have the first one to kind of look at. All right, so let's get started. Okay, step 1 is to identify values. So we don't know V, pi is always 3.14, and to find R in this case, this is going to be the diameter. That's the diameter. And if the diameter is equal to 17, then the radius is half of 17. You could use a calculator for this if you need to, but it should be 8.5. So in this case, it's 8.5. After that, now we get on to step 2. So step 2 is a substitute, but I don't want to replace pi because I want the exact value, okay? And so now I'm just going to replace, V is just going to be V. 4/3, it's just going to be 4/3. Pi is still going to stay pi because I want to find the exact value. Then R is going to change it to 8.5. Then I bring down that 3, or the exponent of a 3. And then we get into step 3. Step 3, I rearranged it just to help it make more sense, hopefully. And I'm only going to multiply the 4 with the 8.5 to the third power. I'm not gonna divide by 3 because I'm gonna get a repeating decimal, and this is where I want the exact value. Okay, so I don't want to estimate at all in this process. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so we're back on the calculator. So if I do 4 times 8.5 to the third power, I get 2,456.5. Now, if I were to divide this by 3, like how some people might, I get 818.83333333, and it goes on forever. At some point, I'm going to have to cut it off and estimate. So I don't want to do that. So I don't want to divide by 3. I want to keep it as 2,456.5, okay? So once we bring it back, I just wrote 2,456.5. But then don't forget that fraction with the 3 in the bottom because we did not divide by 3 on the calculator. So I want to still represent that, right? So I'm going to keep it as a fraction, and then that'll be my final answer for the exact value. So this is the final answer, the final solution for the exact value. Now to find the estimated value, just go ahead, it's the exact same thing. But now that pi is going to change into a 3.14. And then we take all that, plug it into my calculator, and then see what we get. So we still have 2,456.5. Now I'm going to divide that by 3. Divide that by 3. And then times it by 3.14. And then we get 2,571.136667. And so we got this, and then we estimated it. Again, I made a video on estimating numbers. Link is in the description below. And then this is the estimated value, and then that's it. Pretty much the exact same thing. The only difference was we had to divide the diameter by 2 to find the radius first, and then we do everything else. Pretty much it's all substitution and calculator work.